Hello, hello, hi everyone. I'm coming right now. Welcome, 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 everyone. Please, can you let me know if you can hear me? Can you hear my voice right now? Oh, this light is a lot. Let's move this light a little bit. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Can you hear me? Can you just leave a message in the chat if you can hear my voice right now? Can you hear me? Like, leave a message. Say yes or no if you can hear me. Let's just wait a few more minutes for a few more people to join the live. Today's live is going to be very, very interesting because, first of all, you guys know from the banner of the live, we're talking flight compensation. Let me see. Let me see 1 second, Keen. I'm gonna ask a number of you because you guys are not engaging. Can you hear me? Um I'm always keen to ask if you guys can hear me because at the beginning of the first few live sessions I had, people couldn't hear me and I was rambling and talking quite a bit. So I just want to know if you can hear me. Let me know. I've put up a poll, just a few of us on here at the moment. Just let me know if you can hear me. Just click yes or no if you don't want to type, if you're shy. Let me know. Okay, yes, you can hear me. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect, perfect. Okay, that's good. So let me just end this poll because you guys can hear. How are you guys doing today? Welcome, welcome to another, Ask Sassy Sunday with Sassy live session. Where are you guys tuning in from? Before we jump into today's topic, I want to know where you guys tuning in from. Are you guys tuning in from Nigeria, from the US, from the UK, from Australia? Like, where exactly are you tuning in from? I'd love to know. So just drop a comment in the chat and let me know where you're tuning in from. MSGG, hi there. I love whenever I see like the same names pop up like week to week, like it warms my heart. MSGG, good evening, Sassy. Good evening. Hope you're well. Good to have you here again. Hello, Chooks Anime, so you can hear me. Yes, so that's good. Thank you, thank you. Chooks, where are you tuning in from? Where are you based? Are you in Nigeria, US, West Coast, East Coast? Like, let me know where you're tuning in from. I really want to know. I want to know. So get a sense of, who are my loyal people. I want to know where, which region, Hi, Delia Day from Italy. Oh, Italy, Italy. I posted on my personal stories today that or last night that I want to go to Italy. That's like my dream, right? I've been to Italy before, but I feel like having some limoncello. I went to Italy. Was it last year? Loved it, loved it, loved it. Hi, Bolaji Adeyemi. Good to see you again. Hola, Funke, tuning in from Amsterdam. I said it. Amsterdam. I'm good. You know what? I'm definitely 100% going to go to Amsterdam between the next 6 months. 6 months to a year, I'll be in Amsterdam for sure, for sure. Um, Hi, Chooks, Lagos, Nigeria. My Lagosian. Good to have you on here. Okay, everyone is tuning in. It's good. So let me quickly introduce what today's topic is. First of all, Sundays with Sassy. You guys, this is just a platform, an hour for us to engage, chill, get to know each other, for you to ask any questions that you may have. I know many people like DM me on Instagram, but it's really, really hard to respond to all messages. So this forum is really to help connect and engage with all my followers that need to engage with me. I don't know, why is my collar like this? Who wants to engage with me? If you have any questions can range from anything, to be honest. Like travel questions, Lagos airport questions, like literally anything. I'm making this sort of like a free forum for people to ask any questions they may have. Even if you need advice on life, on love, I'm here for you. But the core topic for today is going to talk about flight compensation, right? For people to know exactly what your rights are with regard to delays when it comes to flying in out of, I guess, Europe, US, Nigeria. Also begs the question whether Nigerian Airlines get compensation or not. We'll dive into that too. So that's what's going to be about. You guys knowing what your rights are when traveling, and also giving you some tools to help you easier navigate it, because it can be very daunting to say, "Oh, my flight got delayed. Oh, who do I go to? How do I apply and whatnot?" I have tools for you, easy tools to help assist with that. Yes, Baji said we'll be anticipating your visit. I look forward to it. I look forward to coming. Um, Aside from the flight compensation topic, which is actually the main topic for today, I'm not sure if you guys heard about the issue about the whole Qatar, the man traveling, the Qatar Air hostess crew, Nigerian man news. I'm not sure if you guys heard about it. I posted it on my Instagram yesterday. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me, Sassy underscore Funke. Like, I I'm a regular there, even more so than YouTube. When it comes to giving you guys quick tips, that's where to go to essentially. So let's jump into the core. I should also say if you have any questions at any point in this live session, please just drop the questions in the chat section below and I'll be addressing them as we're sort of navigating everything. Yes. All right. So let's talk about firstly about in Europe and UK with flight compensation rights and whatnot. I actually want to know, guys, how many of you out there, I'm going to ask you a question right now. Have you ever claimed for for a flight delay before? I actually want to get to, have you ever played for a flight delay before? Oh, okay, perfect. So let's put up a poll now. You guys can see in the chat section. I want to know, have you ever claimed for a flight delay before? Like yes or no? Let me know if you've claimed, just to get a sense of where the community is at. Okay, Rafiat. Good evening, Rafiat. Good to have you here. Yes, you did. I did. Nice. Yes, 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 yes. Let me see how the poll is moving so far. 50-50. 50-50 so far. Okay, 67, 50-50. We're moving. They're a bit more okay. More people are voting. You guys, let's vote, vote, vote. Yes or no? It's very simple. Click if you've ever claimed before. Any more votes? Okay. So right now it's 40-60, right? So 40% have claimed and 60% have not claimed for a flight before. Okay, 50-50. So it seems like I think on average, we're pretty much about 50-50 in terms of who has ever claimed for a flight before. I'm going to end the poll right there. Thank you guys for voting. I appreciate that, right? So I'm going to talk about the EU and the UK laws with regard to flight compensation, right? And I'm going to, it's going to be really, really quick, right? It's key to note that the laws apply if you are departing from the EU or the UK or arriving in the EU or UK or with a UK airline. So the EU UK rights, right? Compensation rights applies if you are departing from the EU or UK or if you are arriving on a EU or UK airline, right? So that's what's really important to know where these compensation rights apply. And what does the right say? The flight right say? It says that if your delay is greater than or equal to like 3 hours. So if you're delayed 3 hours or more, you are entitled to compensation, right? So for short haul flights, you're entitled to approximately 250 euros. For like medium haul flights, 400 euros, and for long haul flights, 600 euros. For example, a flight from London to Lagos will fall under long haul, which means if you have a delay that is equal to or longer than 3 hours, you are potentially entitled to 600 euros, right? And you also have extra rights like meals. If your delay is overnight, they have to give you a hotel and also have to give you a medium of communicating like calls or texts to people. They have to give you those things, right? But what's really important to know here is that a lot of airlines, this only applies if it doesn't fall under extraordinary circumstances. So, for example, it was an act of God for like, I don't know, lightning to strike and that caused the delay. The airline will not be entitled to pay you anything because it wasn't their fault. It wasn't an operational issue. So this only applies if there's an operational issues. And you might find that some airlines actually say that, oh, you know what, it's not our fault. And you wonder, how do you figure out whether it's their fault or not? So that's a way for airlines to bypass it. And this is where I'm going to introduce a platform that I absolutely love called AirHelp, right? I don't know if you guys know what AirHelp is, but if you check the description of this video, I put a link there whereby AirHelp essentially is a company that basically, again, this is actually sponsored by them. I actually like them a lot. That's why I talk about them. But this video hasn't been sponsored by them, by the way. But AirHelp essentially is a company that helps you navigate the claim process for your flight delay. So let's say your flight from London to Lagos was delayed, right? And you don't want to go to the process of like communicating with the airline, emailing them back and forth. You basically put out your information on AirHelp. Very simple, like their website, airhelp.com. Let me go through it so you can actually, So when you get there, you just put your departure airline, your final destination airline, And you can even put your boarding pass information, and they will automatically tell you whether or not you're entitled to a claim or not. And this process for them is actually free. They do this for you for free. If they see that you're actually entitled to um, a compensation, they can help you process that. You can decide, okay, you know what, help me process that, help me basically fight my case. And they take a commission from that amount. So you don't pay them outright of your own money, but if they win and um successfully get compensation for you, they take a percentage of that, if you understand. I know if you guys have you guys heard of AirHelp before? Let me actually ask this. Have you let's see, I want to know. Have you heard of AirHelp? Have you heard of AirHelp before? I want to know how many of you guys know this platform. Because one of the truth of the matter is that a lot of I won't say just Nigerian passengers, African passengers do not actually know their rights to claim. So many people actually don't claim, and airlines are getting away with basically like keeping your cash that should be in your pocket. They're not going to tell you, many airlines will not tell you that, oh my God, you're entitled. Some of them will, but many won't. Actually, I'll say 99% of them will not actually outrightly tell you what your rights are unless you ask for it. Okay, quick. I want to read comment here. Bolaji Adeyemi said, I have made claims with Austrian from Malaga to Amsterdam en route Vienna. Actually, Funke, it is 4 hours and I was compensated with 500 euros and an overnight stay at Roxy Hotel in Vienna, close to the airport. 4 hours? Are you sure it is 4 hours? It's actually, what I've done is, for example, UK law, it depends on the route, on the waiting time, how much like delay that you have. What I've done in the comment section of this video, actually this live, is that for each of the regions, like for the US, for Europe, and for even like Nigeria, specifically in the US, you can actually see the specific laws that are in there. So for example, like if I look at the UK one, for example, if for example your flight is delayed, for example, by 2 hours, there's a certain amount that you're entitled to given the distance, right? So it depends on 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on the, yeah. So it's I don't think it's a standard 3 or 4. It just depends on the number, like the route, the length of the routes and whatnot. But if you check within this live description, I have actually sent you the exact link to the specific laws and rights so that you know specifically for your region what you're entitled to based on the distance of your route and the region. So that's really important. Hello, Enyi said, hello, Sassy. I didn't miss your live today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to have you here. Bolaji said, I made my claims directly with Austrian and the process spanned 2 months. Some airlines are so bad at this, you know. I think they just hope that you forget and you'll not push for it. Bolaji said, yes, by European Union law, it is 4 hours. So that's European law, maybe. But yes, maybe it depends. I'm looking at the EU regulations now. It says it depends. It depends. I think just check out the link in my description of this and you'll see specifically. MSGG said, my niece is applying for her first Nigerian passport in the UK and is traveling in December to Lagos. Dirty December, yeah. And has been told that the earliest in-person appointment is not to January 2026. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness, January 2026. That is a long time. This is our first Nigerian passport. There's only so much that can be done, to be honest. Like, I think I'm trying to think, what can she do? If she really wants to go to Nigeria in December, the best thing she can do, to enjoy Nigeria in December is I would advise her actually to get a visa on her foreign passport. I'm assuming she's British, right? So if she gets a visa on her British passport, then she can go for that in December. And at the same time, she can actually apply for her first Nigerian passport in Nigeria. I think maybe it's maybe a bit costly, but that could be worth it. That could be worth it. Okay. Oh my goodness. This is wow. I just realized the poll I put up. Have you heard of AirHelp before? 92% of you guys said no, And 8% of you guys said yes. Wow. Okay, that is huge. That is huge. So I'm going to sort of, I think I spoke about it, but just to say that if you are lazy and you're like, you know what, this airline delayed my flight and I want to know whether I can make money off them or not, just go to AirHelp. Literally, it will take you like 2 minutes to fill out the info about your flight information or whatnot and leave it to them. Like, leave it to them and they will resolve it. Like, I have spoken to AirHelp, the people I help before, and I've worked in collaborations with them in the past, but today's one is not. Um, but it's just one of those, it's like having like a personal concierge that just deals with the wahala for you, because it's stressful calling, emailing, and doing all that. But a lot of Nigerians and Africans are leaving so much money on the table. There's a link in my chat too at the top of the, not my chat, in the description. But you know what? Let me put the link because it might be, let me put it in the chat so it's easier for you guys to find it. Let me find it. AirHelp, where are you? Okay, claim for compensation for delayed flights. I should say that this link is actually an affiliate link. So if you guys do, use the link to navigate getting compensation and whatnot, they actually give me a small commission, but it's not like extra money that they take off you. They just give me their percentage, a bit of their percentage too. But honestly, they're incredible. So that's the link there if you want to use them for claiming compensation. So one of the things I actually wanted to raise here, and I think I spoke earlier that, of course, it's not every single time that you can claim compensation with them. If it's an act of God, for example, like to claim compensation in general, it's an act of God. So the reason why platforms like AirHelp are useful is because they actually, I think they were founded by lawyers who can actually dig out to find out the reason why the flight was delayed. So if an airline lies and say, oh no, it wasn't our fault, it was an act of God, they actually in the background can find out the real reason. So their claims tend to go through faster than individual claims. So that's really important to know that. Okay, let's see. Ooh, okay. Dele left a comment. He said, I had a 4-hour delay for Air France from Paris to Minneapolis, requested compensation directly through their website and got $600 plus back within 5 weeks. Amazing. This is really important. Again, you can go to the airline directly to claim, right? So again, it's not like, you can't. If you can go to the airline directly to claim, it also could work, right? So definitely that's something good to know. And I think like airlines, I'll say this, airlines like Air France, British Airways, Virgin, when it comes to compensation, they're like on it. They're really, really on it. So you can, some other airlines though, I will not say specifically which ones, but if their flights are super cheap, know that getting compensation from them is going to be hard work for you. I always tell people that you always see cheap flights, like airlines that are cheap, flying from, for example, Africa to the UK or whatnot. You're thinking they're cheap, but they're cheap for a reason. When you have a problem, that's when you know why they're cheap. Yes, just key to note that. MAGG said, is there any other way she can get an earlier appointment? Oh gosh, she's asking about getting an early appointment at the High Commission in the UK, in London. Is there an earlier way? To be honest, I don't think there is. If it wasn't our first passport application, she could have simply, gone through the process of using the contactless method and not having to go to the embassy at all. But because it's her first passport, she has to actually go there physically. That is the issue. The only way is if she knows someone there. Like if she has a contact, Nigeria is who you know sometimes. If you know somebody, you can get your passport today. That's the reality, right? So perhaps speaking around to your community, if you know anyone that knows someone that has a contact at the embassy. But I know they've been very, very strict, but Nigeria, if you know somebody. So I'll just say maybe ask around your community if anybody has a contact there that can assist with that. Yes, I'm sorry about that. But again, I would say the easiest way is come to Nigeria to do it. Get a visa and come to Nigeria. That's probably the easiest solution for it. Hi, Born Warrior. Hello, glad to be here. We're glad to have you here too. Rafayat said, what if your luggage was delayed for 36 days After you traveled from Lagos to London, what do? You file for compensation. As in, I'll be interested to know, Rafiat, which airline was this? Which airline delayed for 36 days? That is a really long time. That is, I'm actually very curious to know which airline. Please let me know which airline is this. But if your luggage was delayed for 36 days, 100% you are entitled to a lot of money because in that 36 days, you probably had to buy a lot of clothes to wear and whatnot. And if you have the receipts and documentation for all that, everything you wore and bought because of the delay, you can, I'm sure, just on Google, put your airline and say like luggage delay compensation, and it'll definitely pop up with the process of how to claim for that. Bolaji said, I'm presently making another claim with Air Europa this past week. Was delayed in Madrid for 5 years on flying back from to Amsterdam. Bolaji, I like you. I feel like you are claiming. You're my person when it comes to claiming. You are not the average Nigerian, which is something I'm trying to change in terms of Nigerians knowing what our rights are. So good on you. Let me know next week how that goes. If you have any feedback on that yet. MGG said, thanks, Sassy. Much appreciated. Bolaji said, thank you for the info. We'll try them with this new claim with Air Europa. Definitely try them. It's just ease. Like, I feel like if you use AirHelp, it just makes your life easier. Like one less thing to manage in your life. Enyi Jolua said, Rafiat, you say what? I will sue them. That's extreme incompetence on their part too. Completely, completely, completely. Yeah. 36, that's like over a month. You don't have your luggage. That's why it's actually very important. I always tell people when you're traveling and navigating travel, anything that's important that you value, that you care about, keep it in your hand luggage. Standard. Florence said yes, but they decided saying that it is because of COVID. Yeah, so the things like COVID can actually excuse them. But I'll say if you try and use a platform like AirHelp, they can find out the real reason in case you're lying. So because corporates lie, we know that. Enyi Julua said, can't Denise apply for the Virgin Nigerian passport on the portal thingy, or is it just for renewal? Yeah, so with regard to using the contactless process that Nigerian government has been pushing, you can only apply using that contactless process if you are renewing your passport. If it's your first passport, if it's a lost passport, if you're trying to change names, you cannot use that platform. Rafayat said, I was praying you would not mention this airline. I was praying that let me not hear Royal Air Morocco is the one that delayed you. My fellow Nigerians, if you're flying Royal Air Morocco, get travel insurance. I feel like it should be a when you're booking Royal Air Morocco, you book travel insurance with it. So at least insurance will somewhat cover you. I think it should go hand in hand because I've heard so many negative stories about people's experience with lost luggage with this airline that obviously they have an operational issue, right? So I'm really sorry about that. I think, yeah, you have to just I think for them, you have to be persistent. It might take months and months and months, but you have to be persistent and use social media, as a supporting tool to call them out. Airlines don't like being called out, but honestly, we are Royal Air Morocco. People call them out every day. They're not even shaking. The only time I saw them shake, I think there was a time when by, is it Timmy Daloko, one of this Nigerians? I think he's a musician, right? He had an issue with them, and I posted him. A lot of people posted him, and they responded, right? I think because he has, big numbers, they responded. So they do listen. So just use social media to your advantage to push them to action. It works most of the time. Yeah, Buddy said 36 days, Egbamio. I'm telling you, no. All right. So Foxy 6D said last year, KLM delayed my flight. I missed the connecting flight, had to spend 1 hour in Amsterdam. I filed for compensation and I got £1,100 back. Tea for thanks. Thank you so much. I said Nigerians, we are leaving money on the table, but Fox 60, good. As in, There's the rights for flight delays, flight compensation in Europe and in UK is probably one of the best in the world, right? There's so much support, like the consumer protection is so there that there is no reason why you shouldn't be taking advantage of it. Budgie said, Royal Air Morocco, never flown and will never fly on that airline. I feel like I just have to fly that airline. I think I've flown them once a long time ago. I can't even remember anymore. But I need to fly it again just to experience and share the experience with you guys. Like, I was like, oh, I flew Nigeria's favorite airline. Okay, so let me talk a little bit more. Yes, let's see. Let's talk a little bit more about okay, so a lot of people have asked me in the past before, okay, forget about Nigerian Airlines, for example, Air Peace that flies between Nigeria and the UK. Like, what do you do about flight compensation there? They, are we entitled to any money if they delay? And a lot of people think that you are not entitled to. But I'll take you back to what I said before. The EU UK rights compensation law applies if you're departing the EU or UK, if you're departing it. So, irrespective of any airline, if you're departing from the UK and they delay you, you're entitled, even if it's Air Peace. It doesn't matter. Also, it says if you're arriving on the EU or UK airline, you're entitled. Because Air Peace, when Air Peace leaves Lagos or Abuja and comes to London, because it is not a EU or UK airline, you are not entitled to compensation. So this law for Air Peace, for flight rights compensation only applies to Air Peace when you are leaving London going to Nigeria. That is when the thing applies. I don't know if that makes sense. So many people don't know this. I really hope that was really, really helpful, right? Now let's talk about flight compensation. That's the NC, Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, their rights for local flights. You guys will not be aware, but if your flight to Nigeria is delayed more than 2 hours, you're entitled to refreshments and 2 calls. If it's delayed more than 4 hours, you're entitled to a meal, hotel, and transport if overnight. So hotel and transport applies if it's an overnight delay. Also, cancellations, if they cancel your flight, you're actually entitled legally in Nigeria to a refund or a reroute within 14 days, right? If you're denied boarding in Nigeria, you may be entitled to a refund and compensation, right? So I'm sure many of you will say, Funke Yimu, are you really entitled to all these things in Nigeria? Again, that is what the law says. Whether or not it happens in Nigeria is a different thing. But I've also included in the description section of this video box the specific laws in Nigeria and what your entitlements are. So that's something you can always reference an airline to say, actually, in this, NCAA Part 19 document, this is what it states about my rights or whatnot. So it's really important to know that you have that at your fingertips. So let me jump into the chat again. Oh gosh, let's see. And you Julua said, thanks for sharing. It's a no for Royal Air Morocco. They won't find me there, lie. Fox 6D said, the way December prices are looking, I might try Egypt Airways. If anyone has stories, shout, please. Yeah, I've heard stories, but just Google it. Born Warrior said, when flying from Nigeria locally, which is the airline you prefer? Actually, let me put that question to everyone that is on the chat right now. When you are flying from Nigeria locally within Nigeria, which airline do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. I actually avoid flying in Nigeria locally in general, but I've heard good things about Ibom Air. That's what I've heard. But I always say, for me anyway, when flying within Nigeria locally, the advice I give anyone is, irrespective of the airline you are flying, fly the first flight in the morning. Why? Because that plane is already waiting. there's no delay because the plane is waiting from the night before to fly, right? Any subsequent flight time, a delay can occur that can change your departure time from, a time to plus 10 hours or plus 5 plus whatever, right? So the first flight in the morning is the safest flight to take, irrespective of which airline. That is my advice. So Daly said, for baggage delay, US passengers are entitled to compensation if flight was booked with a premium credit card like Amex Platinum. The bank will refund you for the cost incurred. That is fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. With that said, I think it's really important to maybe let's jump into the US rules. I've put a link um, for the US Department of Transportation, the DOT, their compensation flight rights information. There's a link in the description box of this video where you can see all the information for the different regions, right? For the US, the UK, EU, and Nigeria, what the rights, what entitlements passengers have. So you can definitely check that, right? So for the US rules, they have to give you refunds if you want for cancellations or major changes. If you're denied boarding, for example, you can get up to, if you're denied boarding or they bumped you for another flight, you can get when I say if you're denied boarding, if for example they say that the flight is overbooked, they overbooked the flight and they want to push to the next flight, they can give you up to $1,550 depending on the delay length, right? Delays, there's actually no guaranteed cash per se for delays, only what the airline themselves offer in their policy. So it's not like the UK or the EU, whether it's a law. This one is more like the airlines have their own policies on what they give, right? I'm not sure if you guys are aware. Recently, there was this Trump was rolling back some of the plans that Biden had put, a proposal that Biden put in 2023 with regard to mandating cash and meals and hotels when airlines cause delays, similarly to what happens in Europe right now. But at the beginning of September this year, 2025, Trump actually, administration, they withdrew the proposal before it became law, essentially, which was like a huge as in change or huge slap in the face for passengers who are looking forward to sort of having similar rights to what we experience in the Europe and the UK. So right now, if you're delayed 8 hours in the US, you still get zero guaranteed compensation depending on what the airline gives you. There's no specific law to that. So that was a bit of a hit for the US passengers, essentially. When you're flying within the US, what your rights are. Oh, okay. Let's look at some of the comments here. Jaye Majek said, "What documents do you need to travel to Nigeria apart from your passport?" As a Nigerian traveler, Nigerian citizen with a Nigerian passport, that's pretty much it, right? I feel like if you're a foreigner, I'm not sure whether or not they still check your yellow fever card. What else do you travel if you're not if you're Nigerian, just a Nigerian passport you need right now. There's nothing else right now, no other documents. There is no the landing card that you needed to initially, there was a mix of whether or not you needed a landing card to apply for landing card to land in Nigeria. If you're a foreigner, you do. If you're a Nigerian passport holder, you don't. And Joluwa said, "Oh, to Fox XD 6D, I'd rather pay installments than fly a shady airline. Biko, do your investigations well, or yeah, do your investigations well." MSGG said, "My flight with Aero contractors from Lagos to Calabar was cancelled without prior notice. It took me over 1 year to get a refund, and it had to be into a Nigeria bank account." Yes, honestly, the NCAA, that's the Civil Aviation Authority, and the Consumer Protection in Nigeria need to do better, because I think a lot of times the airlines in Nigeria are getting away with just terrible practice. Like, why will it take you over a year to pay someone's refund? Like, it makes no sense. So I think that's something that needs to be worked on in Nigeria. Bolaji said, "Asman is still owing me since 2023, my degree to Abuja." Bolaji said, "Why not try Rwanda Air for 30 December?" I've not flown Rwanda Air before. I've watched a few videos on it. It's a bit of it's a long route, no? To fly Rwanda Air, like all the way down and back up again. But if you want a cheap flight, I'm gonna be in with that said, actually, in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna be sharing cheap flight deals. I'm gonna see it online on my Instagram page. So if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me, your girl, at Sassy Sassy underscore Funke, because cheap flights for 30 December is gonna be there. So make sure you follow me on there. But I just said Ibom Air anytime. Again, I've not flown Ibom Air, but just the feedback I've heard has been incredible. MHGG say not all airlines go to the States. For me, it's Ibom Air. Somebody else supporting that. Born Warrior said, okay, thank you, everyone. You're welcome. Fox 6D said, I prefer European airlines because of shorter transits, but I want to avoid Ethiopian, Rwanda, Air Peace, Royal Air Morocco, and I'm doing my research. Thanks, everyone. And Joluwa said, so Nigerian airlines do refunds. I'll be scared to collect the money safe. And that's, what? I completely get. A lot of people don't know that Nigerian airlines do refunds. They actually do refunds, like they do. But I think they do have so many people that are requesting refunds that the lag, the timeline, the processing takes forever, right? So if you're persistent, you get a refund. If you just sit down and wait, I can assure you, you will not get your refund. You will not get it. So you need to work for your refund when it comes to Nigerian Airlines. That's the truth of the matter. Yeah, but I'm hoping we get to a point like the UK, the EU, with regard to like flight compensation laws, that we can mimic those airlines too. Because I think once we start making airlines accountable, once we start making anyone accountable, government, people, organizations, as a society, we do better. That's the reality of it. So it's in our best interest to do that. Balaji said, I just got a deal for December for my clients for 1,082 euros on Rowan Air, but we have to fly Doha, Kigali, and then to Lagos. That's what you call a world tour. But you know what? For that price, that's what has to be done. Oh my God, Eyin Joluwa said we need two documents, so the Nigerian passport and cash to drop for them so-called officials. I find this interesting about how everyone always says that you have to drop cash at Nigerian airports. I actually don't agree. I don't agree. I hardly drop 1 naira at that airport. I don't even have money to drop at the airport. I think, I don't know, for me, I just banter with them. My sister, what did you bring? I said, me, Seth, I'm struggling. I said, don't be fooled though by this face. Me, say, I dey struggle. I dey struggle now. Can you see me? Don't think because I'm entering flight. And I feel like when you banter with officials in Nigeria, they just let you go. But I think a lot of people are scared to, like, they feel intimidated. Why are you intimidated? I don't know your people. They're your people now. Why are you intimidated by them? You tell them, oh God, me and you say we are struggling. Well, I'm a student. I'm hustling. But like you said, I never give them shishi. Yeah. She for what? Fox 60 said, I am not Nigerian and I do not drop any cash. I come to Nigeria every year. LOL. They can see bundle in my bag and I will still not give. Yes. I said, I don't know. People get pressure. I said, I don't know. Do you know who I love? Whenever I see foreigners that have been in this country a long time, the way they act like Nigerians, they're like, give you waiting. For what? I beg, I beg. If a foreigner can be talking like that, you know you're from the you're Omonile, that's saying they're collecting money from them. How can they collect money from you? Impossible. But like you said, exactly what I tell them, Sassy. They just see me with my t-shirt and slippers and they will just overlook me. Yes. You don't have to give anybody money, you don't have any pressure you. I think as a society, I'm not saying it's right, but I think that begging culture is something that we have to, I'm not saying accept it, but it's always a reflection of what you see outside in town. Like that begging culture permeates our society at large. Everywhere you go, people expect a tip, they expect you to give. So naturally, they're not going to come to work and switch off. They're going to be like that. So until we resolve that whole begging culture outside, which means, getting people to get better pay, people having a minimum wage they can actually live on properly. Like, until that changes, I personally don't think that beggy culture in the airport will change. It will not change because that's who they are at home. I think it will not change because they're now a worker in the airport. It doesn't make sense now. Even if they try and change a little bit, they'll still revert to their old ways. So don't take it seriously. It's just part of the lay of the land. Like, when you're in Rome, behave like the Romans, right? I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that is the reality of the environment in which we live, essentially. Yeah. Um, Chris M said, "What are they selling for me to give them money?" Born Warrior said, "It has never failed for me being asked for cash. I haven't been since 2023, and I was hoping that this had changed with the new airport. I will say that there have been improvements. The beggy culture at the airport is not as bad as it was before. That I can testify to, which goes to show, I guess, the improvements that have been made by, the operating, you know, management at the airport is definitely much better. But people always say, "What do you have for me?" Can Nigerians breathe without saying, "What do you have for me?" They can't. We can't now. That's the reality. Yeah. But again, don't take it offensive. Don't take it offensive. And Jolua said, "You're a frequent flyer, so it will be they will delay you wella, especially if you have plenty luggage." Let me tell you something. What I do when I have plenty luggage and like I get a customer, they're like, "You know what?" They're about to start talking to me. I said, "No, which one?" I said, "Tell me, which one should I open? Which one should I open for you?" Like, before they even start, I said, "Which one? Which one do you?" Because that means they know you know. So they're just like, "Okay, no, just carry it. This one will be wahala for us. Just go, go, go. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay." So when you're very forward, preemptive to say, "You know what? Which one should I open for you?" They don't stress you too much. I feel like I need to share some tips, some videos coming up to 30 December about things that, can help people navigate the Nigerian airport better. Yeah. MHGG said, "The custom officer, as you're about to exit, are the worst for begging." No lies told. But I get along with them. I actually get along with the custom officer. I can always bantering with them. Like, banter, banter. Banter is the best way for you to peacefully just leave that airport without any stress. Bolaji Adeyemi said, I keep saying it just saying Bolaji said, "Funke, I will blame the average Nigerian traveler because in some cases they offer bribes as well." This is very true. This is very true. Sometimes we complain about the society we're in and how, you know, the challenges of navigating the society, but we never address our part to play in that society, right? We never, and I think that's one of the things you raised there, that we bribe people, right? So when you're bribing people, people are expecting bribes. They think everybody should be bribing them too. So that's a very, very valid point. Thank you for sharing, Bolaji. Eyin Jolua said, "Do they still randomly pull people aside to check their luggage on arrival, or as that stop?" No, but that is the customs. Yeah, so listen, that's the customs duty. Yes, they do randomly tell people that happens. And I think it's just customs duty to ensure that if you're importing goods for resale, I feel like that is valid that they do that because some people are bringing things for resale or whatnot, so they have to pay duties on it. That's essentially why they're doing that. While they're doing that, let me see. So, guys, I've touched on all of the major compensation laws for the different regions, in the UK, the EU, America. I really hope that's been quite insightful, and you've learned something from that. So, if you want to dive deeper into what specifically are these laws, check the description box of this video where I've actually gone through the hard work, not really, but hard work, to pull out the links to all the specific laws so you can actually read it yourself and know whether your flight or not, applies, your delay, what you're experiencing applies or not. As I've mentioned before, if you don't want to go through the stress of reaching out to the airline or whatnot, you can always use platforms like AirHelp, which I've also linked in the description box below, and they essentially help you with the process of getting compensation for delays. So you can definitely do that. Um, And you, Jolua said, or one can just act deaf. You could act deaf, or they'll probably drag you if you act deaf. Or you try, but they were calling you. Let me see. Sassy, as your travel to Niger Facebook site now closed or ended. Wow. Okay. So travel to Niger, if you guys know, is one of a page that I started when during COVID to help people navigate travel better and smarter. So it was, a lot of the COVID information and information was on there. It's paused temporarily, right? Because obviously COVID, is no longer here. And I also noticed that a lot of the content that we're putting out on Travel to Niger is actually content I was putting out on my platform too. And we're sort of, taking a pause to understand what the future of that is. The Facebook page, so she said the Facebook page. We're not as active, but it's not ended. Like there's someone that typically comes to like moderate from time to time, but maybe I should tell them to put their foot on the gas to make it a bit more active. So sorry, I thought you were talking about the Instagram page, the Facebook site. It's still there. It's still there. So people are still actively on there. But we're not as active as before. Yeah, but we'll revive it a little bit. Thanks for bringing that to my attention because I didn't know people were still active on there. So, Born Warrior said, overall, I love Nigeria and the people as well. I hope to be there by Christmas to experience Dirty. Yes, Dirty December. I will be here for Dirty December, like Nigeria for that definitely. So I'm looking forward to that too because I'm glad we're known for, I don't know, our nightlife energy parties. It's a good time to be in Nigeria, but I like it anyway. So yeah. But you said, oh yes, I remember that page. It really helped me do my travels to Nigeria during COVID. Yes, but yeah, travel to Nigeria was so helpful, And I think the reason why we haven't been active so much on the page is because COVID was really the driver. Also thinking what is the future, what is direction for that. We're still, I guess, thinking about it, right? And once we have a clear vision for what the future is like, then you definitely see more activity on the page. But I'm glad at the time that it served that purpose and it was really helpful. So I'm glad that it actually really helped you too. I'm really glad to hear that. We have approximately 12-13 minutes left. So if you guys have any questions, please drop them in the chat section below. Aside from that, I want to quickly drop. Did you guys hear about the news about the Qatar Airways NCAA battle? Essentially, NCAA said that they came out and said that a Qatar Airways crew member reported a Nigerian passenger that had touched her bum bum on a flight from Lagos to Doha. Apparently, allegedly, the passenger touched her bum bum, when she was wheeling another passenger onto the flight in Lagos. So the SCA was not saying that, why did she not report the issue in Nigeria? Why did she go to Doha to report the issue? Because subsequently what happened is when she went to Doha to report the issue, the man was fined. The man that was, he was fined, and it was also made to sign a document that was written in Arabic. Like, did you guys hear the news? I want to know if you guys are did you hear the news? Let me see. Are you aware? Are you Airways crew versus Nigerian man it's hitting, well, I should say allegedly assaulting her. I want to know. I actually want to know how many star poll. Yeah, I just want to get a sense of how many of you guys are sort of in with the news. Yeah, let me know if you're aware of it. I actually want to know if you guys know, because I did share it on my Instagram page. Was it yesterday, day before yesterday? I shared it on there, just navigating the news. And I didn't really share my own personal opinion because I try not to I always leave the floor to you guys. Like, what are your thoughts? And I actually want to know, what are your thoughts? Do you think it was like, what are your thoughts in general about the news? For those of you that have heard the news before about what happened, like, what are your thoughts? Do you think she should have reported it to Nigeria, sorry, before they left? Or do you think she was right to report it in Doha? Um, I didn't really share my views on Instagram, but I'll share it here because we're a family here. Again, it's allegedly. So I'm going to give my opinion based on if that is what happened, which we do not know. I was not there. I don't know whether he touched her bum bum or he did not touch her bum bum, but I was not there. But if he touched her bum bum, here's my view. If he did, right? I do not blame her for reporting it in Doha. Again, if he touched her bum bum, I don't know if he did do. Because if we're honest as Nigerians, and we're really, really honest, if she reported it in Lagos, what would happen? Obviously, I can't predict for sure what would happen, but I'm not sure justice will be served in the way that it would be served in the abroad, right? Some people left comments on my Instagram, my reel. So, and you, I said, like, you heard it from my reel, right? Is that people were like, no, she should have reported it to Nigeria. I'm like, let's be honest as Nigerians, like, I'm a proud Nigerian. Like, I shout Nigeria from the rooftop where I go. But we need to be honest, because when we're honest, we can change things for better. But when we're not honest, we're just deceiving ourselves. She went where she felt she would see justice, right? Um, yeah, that's where she went where she would see justice, and where she would get justice. And the question is, do you blame anyone? You know, w- you know, do we blame anyone in terms of them trying to seek justice where they would get fairness? And I don't blame anyone. Like, it's for me, rather than the NCAA. Of course, on their level, they can be outraged because I think the NCAA put up a statement saying that Qatar Airways has been disrespecting Nigerians for so many times, and they call them for interviews or for to summon them. The manager never comes. Blah, 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 blah. So I think they have an issue with it. They have a beef with them. That one, it's clear from the statement that was being made. But I think if somebody went to seek justice in Qatar and we're upset about that, we're upset at the wrong thing. We're not. We should be upset. Okay, this person is going there because they don't feel our justice system is decent. It's not for us to reevaluate and say, you know what, is our justice system decent? Like, if this one actually reported, let's be honest, what would we have done? It won't pass. Maybe, well, sorry, he's sorry, he apologized. Sorry, and these people, they don't take rubbish in their. I just go, I don't know. Like, even the comment section of my post, what people were saying, and people were saying that, well, we're not there. Where's CCTV? They should bring CCTV. Let's see. I'm like, which CCTV are you going to see? Let's be. We don't tell ourselves the truth. Again, I'm saying if he indeed touched a bum bum. If he didn't, obviously, this is absolute rubbish, right? But if he did indeed, So Boyd just said nothing will happen. And that is it. If she reported in Nigeria, I'm gonna say in my chest, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. A lot of people use, I believe, you know, the justice system in Nigeria to get away with things they shouldn't be getting away with. That is why you see a lot of you know, people that misbehave in Nigeria, when they emigrate or they jackpot abroad, you see them having problems. But why? Because the things they were doing here, you do it abroad, you are going to jail. MAGG said she should have reported both in Nigeria and in Doha. For me, I don't feel like Nigeria has done anything about it. True. Bolaji said we can infer to what happened in the Kwam 1 and 2 saga. Yes, like, didn't they make him a ambassador or something? Didn't they reward him with an ambassador or something, something. I can't remember what it was. Bon Warrior said, exactly, I see. Baji said, I'm just being honest here. Yeah, I think as a country, just in general, we need to be honest. When we are honest, then we are free. We can make change, we can do better. Um, Chuk said, there are always two sides to a story. Why didn't she report it to the NCAA as well? Um, as well, I don't. Why didn't she report it to the NCAA? I could imagine she thought that she already reported it to one entity now, and maybe like, what's the point of reporting it to the other? If the entity in Doha already dealt with it, then you know. Chooks also said, and the man signing a document he doesn't understand. A lot of people left this comment under my, the reel where I narrated what happened with this case on Instagram, and people were saying, oh, why would he sign a document he did not understand? You guys, I'm sorry, like I understood the reason why he will sign the document he doesn't understand. Because when you're in that situation, a country that is not yours, and you're, being you're being, we don't know what has been said in that room with him, saying that if you don't sign this document, you're not traveling, you're not going to detain you for longer. And maybe he just wanted the whole ordeal to end, right? People do things in time just to say, you know what, I want to be free. I don't want drama. I just want to leave, right? This place. So I could understand, you know, when you have pressure, someone like me, I might say I will not sign no, I will not sign no, but depending the kind of pressure you receive, what you will do, you will not know. You can say as an outsider now, like us, we're here and we're saying, maybe I wouldn't sign it because we're not there. If you're in that moment, in that room with that pressure, you might sign anything, you don't know. So that I could understand why he signed it, because we don't understand what kind of pressure he perhaps was under that sort of pushed him to just saying, you know what, let me just sign and leave. Let me leave this to the past of, like, let me just move on from this. I can understand that. Yes. So everyone, we have approximately, see, you guys said, wait, first of all, let me address this. 50% of you guys said you heard about this news. 50% said you didn't hear about this news. The 50% that did not hear about this news, why are you not following me? Like, I am your minister, your online minister of travel, right? Information, online minister of aviation, Nigerian aviation. Honestly, like, if you guys want to be kept abreast of, what is happening to help, in Nigerian aviation news, or just general tips to help Nigerians and Africans navigate travel better and smarter, you need to follow me on Instagram. Like, Instagram is where I push content out like on a daily, to just really help you guys navigate travel better and smarter. So make sure you're following me on Instagram if you're not already. We only have 2 more minutes left on this live. If you guys have any ideas or any thoughts with regard to what next week's live session should be about, I have ideas, but let me know, so we can have a chat. Not have a chat. We'll put together next week's live session Sunday. Yes, there should be a live session next week Sunday. The week after, I'm not sure. So next week live session, make sure you're there. Make sure you're there. Make sure you're there. You guys, it's been fantastic as always to be a part of this live session with you guys. Again, it's a way for me to just connect and be a part of the community and engage with you guys one-on-one. For you guys that, come back to back, I see the name, yeah. Ooh, someone said, why don't we talk about flight catering? What do you mean, Bolaji? What do you mean by flight catering? Let me know. I said, for many of you guys that have been coming here regularly, thank you so much for being so consistent and being a part of the conversation, of being a part of my family. For a few of you guys that are new to the conversation and new to the community, please, please, please continue to come. It's really lovely engaging with you all on the platform here. Bolaji, let me know what you mean by flight catering. Do you mean like food, or what do you mean by that? Like, let me know. Let me know. Let me see. Okay, Bolaji, I don't know if you want to dive into that a little bit more. We have just a few more minutes before the end of this live. Let me know. Let me know. If you have any, questions that you have, please email me. But make sure you put YouTube Live Family on there. So if you put YouTube Live Family on the subject line, I'll definitely prioritize your emails before anybody else. So make sure if you have questions from here, just put that, and I would 100% make sure I respond to you if you put the YouTube Live family in the subject matter of your email. And my email for contact is sassyfunke@gmail.com. So, engage. Born Warrior said, thank you. Have a great week, everybody. Yes, thank you, everyone, for being a part of the session. Buddy said the food served on flights. Okay, we'll discuss that next week. I'll definitely make it part of our discussion for next week's session. And Joluwa said, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys too. We both make this happen. So thank you so much. Daily Ade said, thanks. You guys, as you enter this week, be blessed. Put your best foot forward. Life isn't perfect. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. We're gonna have challenges and setbacks, but just waking up every day, just keep, keep moving forward. Life, that's life. And please, someone said smash the like button before you leave. Please make sure you like. It really helps me YouTube push my content to more people if you guys are liking and engaging with my content. MSGG, thank you, Sassy. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Yes, Bolaji, thank you. Muchas gracias. Ciao. Bye, everyone. And I will see you guys on Sundays with Sassy next week, Sunday. Bye.